If you sell in these next few trending niches, your account will probably get banned. The first one being La Boo Boo. And I think I've mentioned this before, but there's a new Halloween twist of this trend right here. So if you see anything with these little creatures in a design, just stay away from it. It's a viral toy, puppet, whatever. Like, kids really love it, but it's a brand. So even if it doesn't spell exactly like the brand, you're copying it and you're only making sales because of that. So even if it's Halloween themed, definitely don't sell these. Another trend that's recently popped up is don't marry him, or don't be with him, don't marry him, be with me. I looked this up and it's a quote from I think it's a Netflix show. It's also somehow connected with Taylor Swift. I think she's got like the soundtrack to that. Even though it's probably not trademarked, I would stay away from it. There's two red flags there, massive red flags, and it's Netflix show and Taylor Swift. So don't marry him. If you see those selling, just avoid it. It's not worth the risk. Similarly to Conrad or Team Conrad, there's a ton of new designs popping up right here that say that, and the reason is, again, it's linked to that show. That same phrase is linked to a character called Conrad, and there's a lot of people that like him. That's why all of these shirts are popping up and selling. So I wouldn't really do it. I know the name Conrad is allowed to be sold, but if all of these are just selling because of that show right now, it's a lot more likely to cause rejections and designs to be removed. Another really dangerous trend is this one right here with banana. So you might have seen that over the past few months, banana design have just been doing extraordinarily well. So we've got one right here, 80 days old, 50k BSR, 50 days old, 50k BSR. So there's tons of these, lots of different styles, and a lot of them are really, really new, and a lot of them also have baseball in them. And that's kind of the hint right there, the giveaway, that this is linked to an official baseball team, one that is for some reason very viral on social media, and that's why these are selling so well. And again, whilst selling a banana design that's generic might be allowed, these here are all like trying to sell to the baseball fans, and they probably have baseball in the title as well. And there's also an officially branded shop for this, and you will notice that a lot of their designs look very similar to what's being sold at Amazon. So right now, be careful with banana design, or banana designs in general, especially the ones that are linked to baseball right here. And lastly, another huge trend that you definitely want to avoid. There's so many this week, but don't worry, we also have a lot of trends that you can actually sell within and that are safe. So stick around for those. So this one is Imamusu. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. That's a strange word right there. But as you can see, all of these are about 2 weeks old and they're selling like crazy. 20k, 20k, 38k, 50k, 50k BSR, all kind of the same graphic, just with different colors, which is already a red flag. If you see a pattern of extremely similar designs selling, it's probably a logo. And in this case, if you Google it, you'll figure out that this is linked to a mobile game. So I don't know if these are official shirts or if it's just people ripping them off. Either way, they're probably going to get removed. The fact that all of these are priced at $22.99 is making me guess that this is like a new brand deal that Amazon has got with this game. But yeah, do not try and sell designs that look like this. It's probably going to get you banned. This would be the kind of niche that makes that a lot more likely. Trending niche number one that you could consider targeting is sandwich guy or sandwiches trending right now. I know that sounds strange, but I'll explain it in a second. First of all, let's just look at these. There is a guy throwing a sandwich. Some of them say free DC. Some of these are just sandwiches with stars and some of the text right here. So there is a mixture of designs that are all recently posted. You can see 6 days ago, that started to sell. The top seller sitting at a 100k BSR, which is pretty crazy for a guy throwing a sandwich. So what does this mean? If you're confused about this, if you're not from the US, I looked it up, and essentially it's a political thing. A guy threw a sandwich at a police officer over there, and now people are buying it on shirts. I know it sounds strange, but that seems to be the case. Again, it is political, so these niches can sometimes get taken down from Amazon. They can be considered controversial. So proceed with caution, but I don't really see much of an issue with, some designs with the sandwich on it. There is a ton of demand for it right now. Probably not going to last forever. It won't be the longest lasting trend, I guess, but I do have some trends coming up that I'll share with you that are going to do really well right now and over the next few weeks more consistently. And looking at Etsy right here with Profit Tree. There's also a bunch of shirts indexed for DC sandwich thrower, free DC sub sandwich, so a bunch of stuff right here on this search term. And as you can see by these badges, 10 sold in the past 24 hours, 5 sold in the past 24 hours, a bunch of extra ones right here. There's in 17 cards, in 20 plus cards, so there's definitely demand on Etsy for this niche as well. Typically political niches do quite well on Etsy, so I can expect it selling quite well here, and probably a bit safer on this platform as well. At least I don't think Etsy is really against controversial political trends as much as Amazon is. And yeah, just to show you that there's a bunch of stuff indexed here as well. Profit Tree, in case you missed my last episode, is kind of a new Everbee alternative, and the features that you're seeing here are all available for a one-off lifetime fee, which I think is quite cool, because the only thing that's locked, as far as I can tell, is the conversion rate and the visibility score. But you get these demand badges, you get the estimated monthly revenue, monthly sales, the views, listing age, all of that stuff, and you've got a ton of filters right here. They've now also got an Etsy radar, which is a Chrome extension that kind of opens up as you're searching on Etsy directly, if you don't want to be in the back end of this tool right here. But yeah, anyway, just an alternative that I'm kind of showing and testing out for Etsy research, and it seems to be quite cool right here to find trending niches and show you these demand badges very clearly and easily. September 16th is Mexican Independence Day. So in a couple of weeks from now, you're going to see a ton of sales for Mexican themed designs. One kind of sub niche that you could potentially target right here is Viva Mexico. I saw a bunch of new designs in the Seller Trends tab this week that have that phrase in it, and as you can see, there is tons of these right here indexed with a 400k BSR, with a 500k BSR, different themes. So we've got hearts, we've got the shape of the country, we've got some commonly associated elements with the culture, we have these messy hairband designs. So there's a bunch of this stuff. Obviously Mexican flag colors, very, very common. We've got a butterfly. I've been scrolling for a while. There's still 500, 600k designs with this phrase. So it's really popular, and it's only going to trend up in sales, down in BSR over the next few weeks, which is definitely something worth considering. Generally, Mexico themed designs will do really well, but this seems to be a promising sub niche. If we look at the Etsy results right here with Profit Tree, I've just typed in Mexico shirt in this case to see the full spectrum of results. Now there is a bunch of this Gulf of Mexico mixed in right here, which I don't know if that's necessarily going to do any different or better for Independence Day, maybe, perhaps, but I'm looking more at the national pride designs with the flags. And there is some of the badges right here, 6 sold, 2 sold in the past 24 hours. We can also filter this down, which is quite cool, because if we look at the bottom right here, there's 800 results in Profit Tree. So why not filter this down and say we only want to see listing type physical and some of these badges right here. So in 20 plus carts and popular in the past 24 hours. If we hit search on that, let's see what happens. There we go. So now we can see kind of the most popular listings right here for Mexico shirts, and also get an indication for the demand. So right now there's nothing like crazy, no outliers, I would say, except for some of these at the top right here, Gulf of Mexico shirts. But again, there is some that are selling a few times a day, and these will just drop in BSR. Not in BSR, there's no BSR in Etsy, but these will just get more and more popular over the next few weeks. And it's more of an evergreen niche as well, right? So whilst it's peaking right now for Mexican Independence Day, people always will be buying these throughout the year just to represent their country. And I sell a lot of designs with flags on them for different countries in North America, in Europe, across the world really. So these kind of niches are really good because they see some spikes throughout the year, but generally they are evergreen. Speaking of evergreen niches with kind of seasonal spikes, here's another one. So game day is definitely trending right now, and you can see that inside of Flying Research. If you look at the current BSR of these designs, which the bestseller is 48k, the next one 73k, here we've got 124k, and then just look at the average BSR of the last 30 days. These are all higher, quite a bit higher. So 200k for this one. So that's just 40%, not 40%, 25%, quick brain fart there, 25% roughly of its average BSR. This one is about, what is that, 30% of its average BSR. So these are all down and spiking right now in sales, but these are related to football. Football season's just starting, so that's definitely an evergreen topic that sells throughout the year. Obviously, it slows down a bit when football season is over and there's a bit of a break, but generally, these are evergreen designs, and game day itself really popular right now. As you can see, tons of people buying shirts indexed on this term. I've scrolled down for a bit and we're still at the 300, 400 KBSR range, and there's still a lot of new badges as well, indicating that these were published less than 30 days ago. So definitely take a look at this. This drip style has been really, really popular with sports themed designs this year. So that is something that I would consider to kind of provide a new angle, perhaps, to this niche. It's mostly selling a lot for baseball, but why not try it for football as well? And you can see a lot of these have kind of glitter themes. These kind of new sellers look like the text and the the football graphic has glitter on them. I would be careful with that, just because Amazon doesn't want the customer to think that it's going to be an actual glitter effect in the print and then, be disappointed when they receive it. It is going to cause more returns. So that's something I wouldn't necessarily do myself, and you definitely don't want to add it. Whatever you do, don't add it to your listing, because that causes rejections if you add things like glitter, gold, sparkling, glow effect, stuff like that. So avoid those. But game day or football in general, really, really popular right now on Amazon. On Etsy, it's looking very similar. So we've got tons of shirts right here, pulling in hundreds and hundreds of monthly sales already, and football season has just kicked off. You can see the badges, 17 sold in the past 24 hours, 25 sold, lots of 20 plus carts. So yeah, this is definitely a hot topic. We've got football shirt, Cincinnati football. I would always be careful mixing like the actual city and trying to, profit off of the football teams itself. That's why game day, I think, is more of a safe approach. But as you can see, tons of demand on this search term right here within Etsy. Lots of personalized and customizable listings as well, which is something you can do with tools like My Designs, for example. I've got a bunch of tutorials on my channel that show you how to create customizable listings, upload them to Etsy, and then also how to fulfill the orders if they come in, because it's quite easy to do that with My Designs. But yeah, either way, game day or football, doing well on Amazon and on Etsy. Moving on to the next trend this week, we've got Hispanic Heritage Month, which is from the 15th of September to the 15th of October, meaning right now it's not really trending yet, but it's definitely slowly but surely dropping in BSR. You can see it in a few of these examples. For example, this shirt on the right, 460k BSR. Right now, the average BSR is 1 million, meaning some of these are going down already, but others are not. They're just kind of hovering around the same mark. But in 2 weeks from now, you're going to get a lot of sales with this search term. Now, what is indexed right here? You can see there's a bunch of designs that actually say Hispanic Heritage Month, and that have kind of a combination of different flags, which is quite hard to do. You're not going to get a prompt that gets that perfect. So it will take some time to put that kind of design together, which provides a barrier to entry to that specific approach, right? So not a lot of people are going to go through the effort of spending an hour creating a design like that. But you don't even have to do that. There's also, as you can see, tons of designs right here just with the actual Hispanic countries and their national pride. So we've got Puerto Rico showing up multiple times right here. We've got Guatemala. Then we have Viva Mexico shows up. So if you have Hispanic countries and you have designs for them, this is a search term you'll want to include. We've got Cuba. We have, what else? One Thankful Teacher. Wow. So that's an interesting approach right there to mix an occupation with Hispanic Heritage Month. I can't remember seeing that before. Then we have Puerto Rico again. We've got Latina Power on the right. So I'm pretty sure the Latina search term is also going to be a popular sub-niche for Hispanic Heritage Month. We've got Venezuela over here. So as you can see, there is a ton of sub-niches and angles to approach this. You can cross-niche with other popular topics, trends, and design styles. You can make designs for kids, as you can see right here, a little girl dabbing. And I went to ChatGPT as well to help me out and just asked it very simply, what are some Hispanic countries that would celebrate that event in America? And it gave a list of suggestions right here. So Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, which we saw, and then it also says right here Cuba, Dom Republic, Puerto Rico, and a bunch of others. So take that as inspiration, take a look at the sub niches, and again, this is a trend, a spike in some niches, but especially those national pride designs that don't say Hispanic Heritage Month, they will be selling as evergreens. So this is a good opportunity, a good angle to get into an evergreen niche through a trend, through an increase of demand, and then have a regular seller thereafter. So that's a strategy that I've used with tons and tons of different topics. Works really well, works like a charm. You just have to be a bit creative and not just copy the best sellers like most people do, but it can work wonders. Looking at this on Etsy, I've just typed in Hispanic Heritage Month right here without appending a product type, just so we can see what are kind of the top sellers at the minute. No crazy sales. So we've got like 50 indexed as the top one right here, 40, 34. But again, these will probably get better in a couple of weeks from now. And it's mostly shirts. We've got funny Latina shirt, celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. That's a t-shirt. Not sure what that is right there. Another shirt, another shirt. So I think if you want to sell on Etsy, it's mostly going to be t-shirts that will be popular in this niche. There's a poster right here mixed in. There's an apron as well, it looks like, for baking. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, in terms of the badges, demand badges, nothing crazy right now. The highest ones are in 20 plus carats, 11 carats, but no multiple sales in the past 24-hour badges at the moment, but I can definitely see that changing in the near future. Next up, we've got elderly white hippie. Bit of a random funny one again. Not too crazy in terms of sales. So you can see right here 500k BSR on the top listing. That's indexed in Flying Research. But as you can see, there's a bunch of them selling. They're all posted within the last week. And I believe this was a quote by a politician, something like that. And yeah, I would consider this safe. So some cool design styles actually right here. So even if you don't want to enter this trend, I think just taking a look and paying attention to the styles right here that are working, I bet these could work in similar niches for similar topics as well. But yeah, pretty cool, funny one right here. Elderly white hippie, currently trending on Amazon. Probably more short-lived, especially compared to the other trends I just showed you. But I thought it was a fun one, probably lower competition that I could share with you right here. Another new trend right now is Newsom, or Gavin Newsom. So there's a bunch of new designs that say Newsom, no pun intended, that have started to sell. Right here we've got him kind of in some funny poses, 2028. So this is, as far as I'm aware, the governor of California, and he's been in the news a bit recently, so people, as usual with political topics, feel very passionate about it and are buying shirts related to it. The bestseller right now sitting at a 166k BSR. That one's a bit older, but as you can see, some of these do have new badges in them. Again, it's a bit of a political trend, so you always have to proceed with a bit of caution on Amazon. They can sometimes get removed or rejected, but I think in this case, it's probably fine. On Etsy, we've got a few shirts right here indexed on that term. The first one right here is not related to that. It's a Trump one, but Gavin Newsom 2028 getting about 27 sales right now, 2 sold in the past 24 hours. So it's not huge. I would say this seems to be a bit more popular on Amazon, but as you can see, there's still demand, people searching for it, because tons of these are in multiple carts, 20 views in the last 24 hours, 2 sold in the last 24 hours. It's not the biggest trend right here, but there is some demand, and you never know, it might go up and down with time as well, depending on the news cycle. So as usual, we're going to look ahead 3 months with the archive feature inside of Flying Research and see what's going to trend well in November. So in this case, I've selected the 29th of November 2024, so we can see what was selling the best then. Now, the top 2 bestsellers at that time were evergreen niches right here, 3,000 and 4,000 BSR. This is right around the time of Black Friday. I think Black Friday was early December last year. It was quite late. Maybe it was like the last day of November. So these were already doing extraordinarily well even before Black Friday. And this is in like anime, gaming design. This is for car guys, right? Then we have Christmas trends, which is to be expected. I think you're going to see a lot of those at the end of November. Tons and tons of Christmas designs. But as you can see, there's a lot of strong evergreen ones too. 15k BSR right here for this cat eating ramen. 16k BSR for all of these mystical creatures like Bigfoot is in here. There is a mix, and you can already see this from just the first few results. There is definitely a mix of evergreen and Christmas designs doing very well at this time. Even if you see majority Christmas right here, I personally wouldn't focus most of my efforts on doing Christmas specific designs that are specifically Christmas themed, because once Christmas shopping season is over, these all drop off in BSR. And you can see that right here in the current BSR numbers. We've got 700k, 900k, we've got 700k for this one. What about some of the top sellers from last year? This has 600k, 400k BSR, 500k, 600k. So none of those are really selling a lot. They're selling a few times a week perhaps. Whereas let's look at the evergreen ones, 90k, 40k, 100k, 90k. So those are selling 10, 20, 30 times a day. They're crushing it. And that's even though it's nowhere near Christmas yet. And that is the goal, right? You want to create designs that sell a lot throughout the year, and then even more for Christmas, not just designs that sell really well for Christmas and then don't sell throughout the rest of the year. So that's why I usually focus most of my efforts on the evergreen niches. But scrolling down further, what else can we see in terms of patterns? Here's more Christmas stuff, more evergreen stuff mixed in. Skibbity Christmas. So that's another quick hint. A look at what's been trending throughout this year in terms of kids. What have kids been most interested in? Because this is like a trend from last year that was really popular, these kind of words right here, and it worked really well with the Christmas mashup across niche. So 47k BSR it had in November, and I also had a few Christmas designs that had kind of that Christmas twist, not with toilet or skibbity on them, but they did quite well last year. They might still sell this year, but I think there is some new trends, new design styles that have been doing well for kids this year that might work a little better. So definitely do some research into that. There's another example right here, Skibbity Toilet. That one's not Christmas themed, but just to show you that it was doing well in general. I'll be in my office right here, very simple design, just white, simple silhouette, simple font as well, bit of a distress effect. 500k BSR right now, so not too crazy, but it did have a 68k BSR back then at a price of $19.95, so that design was killing it. Another Skibbity Christmas design right here, a gym one as well. I'm doing math, so can't really see any big trends or big patterns besides the evergreen and Christmas, and I think that's going to be normal. There's not really a ton of other stuff that sells really well at the end of November right here. There is obviously Thanksgiving as well, but as you can see at the very end, those have already dropped off. That's going to be more relevant a few weeks beforehand. But yeah, I hope that gives you a bit of an idea. Think of current trends, the trends of this year, and think of, or maybe designs that have done well for you this year in general, and think if you can apply Christmas theme to them. Sometimes it can be as simple as just adding a Christmas hat to it, and also mostly think about evergreen niche designs and focus on those, because some of them will do extremely well during Q4. And a lot of those that haven't really sold for you this year will probably start selling in Q4. That's something that happens for me all the time. Listings that don't sell throughout the year and then suddenly start selling during November and December. Thank you very much for watching to the end of this video. Make sure to check out this one next if you want to learn about a new tool that I've been using, which is free up to tier 10,000, and that has helped me revive a lot of old listings that had stopped selling.